All right, Shalom, Shalom. My name is Officer Marakai of Camp 4 here in San Diego, California. Soon we'll be moving to Wilmington, North Carolina. So get ready for that. We're also going to be out there in Florida with no cap. Bam. Officer Eleazar. That would probably be like every month or every other month in the Unity camp, but at the same time, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. And we do so in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Shema Yasharala Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Ached. All right, I wanted to go over a little breakdown before I start Shabbat services. This is very important, needed to be gone over. A sister is having trouble explaining this, so I'm going to explain this real quick. And it's best that I don't give her the precepts. Why? Because it needs to be explained. Can't always give people precepts and expect them to understand in totality what's talking, because it's precept upon precept. Go to Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9 for me, Baba Michelle. Yeah. And it explains you that everything needs to be done precept upon precept. So I'm going to have to connect things together. I'm going to have to go here, there. I'm going to have to put everything together and get you to understand. Because in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, may every matter be established. Can't just go with one precept. You got to go to a 12 of them. Go ahead.
Isaiah 58 verse 9.
Right.
Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Doctrine means learning. Go ahead.
Them that are weaned from the milk.
That's the law. The milk is the law. Right? Weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. It's the milk that we get from the breast. The breast is the law, and we suck the milk right out the law. Okay? Go ahead.
Precept must be upon precept.
Right.
Precept upon precept.
Right.
Line upon line. Line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
Up to down. Over here, getting from the law, which they call so-called New Testament. Go to the prophets. When we go to the so-called New Testament, the gospel, when we get there. Okay? Give me Leviticus chapter 15, verse 16. So let me share my screen real quick. All right, go ahead.
Leviticus 15 verse 15.
Right.
If any man see the population
right.
go out from him,
right.
then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean unto him.
So any man see the copulation, right? Copulation, lie carnally, sex of sexual relations, act of lying of sexual relations, seed of sexual relations. Okay? In the Hebrew, right? Shek-abah, right? In the Hebrew, Shek-abah. Shek-abah, right? Shek-abah, a lying down of dew or for the sexual act. Carnally, copulation, lie, seed. Carnally means flesh. You're in your flesh. Okay? his member up. Okay, so read that again, Baba Kushal.
If any man's seed of copulation
The sexual relations, his seed of sexual relations, go ahead.
Go out from him,
right?
Then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and
right?
be unclean until
and be unclean until the evening. All right, so a man is unclean by spilling seed. All right, now let's say the brother didn't bust. Brothers always bust. There's such thing called premature ejaculation. Let me get that. All right, premature ejaculation is orgasm and emission of semen occurring just before or shortly after beginning sexual intercourse. All right, so before we start doing something, it can happen, or after. So a brother's already spilling seed already. We shouldn't be thinking about that even just before the Sabbath. It's a slippery slope, because then, give me a second. Matter of fact, just keep reading. We're going to go over a couple of things, not just this one. Keep reading, Zanakaria.
And every garment, every skin whereon the seed of copulation shall be washed with water.
So if he on her, he spills a seed on her, or on the sheets and stuff like that, or he spills a seed on her and she rolls over, gets it on the sheets and everything like that, she's unclean. Keep reading.
The woman also with whom a man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves with water, and be unclean unto the
right.
And if a woman have an issue, her issue is her flesh be blood.
What?
And the issue in her flesh be blood.
This is her period. Keep going.
She shall be apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean unto the
So a woman that's on her period shall be apart 7 days. So if it's the Sabbath, and a woman is on her period, she shouldn't be around no one 7 days at all. Go ahead. So should she attend Sabbath service? That is a no. If a man is unclean and a woman is unclean because of copulation, sexual relations, none of them should be attending a Shabbat services. It should be at their own home by them lonesome. Go ahead.
But everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean.
Right.
Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean.
So anyone that touches the woman while she's on her period, her menstrual cycle, they will be clean at night if they will bathe and wash themselves. That means you got to wash yourself from head to toe. You know, the spirit enters your crown. That's where your spirit enters and leaves. All right, so you got to wash your head and wash your whole body. And the clothes that you wash, before you even hop in the shower, put them in a bag or you put them in a washer and you get in a shower after that. Okay, so if you're taking your clothes, put them in a bag, right? Or you put them in the washer. You shouldn't even have any other clothes on. You just walk naked up to the shower. But if you got to walk through the house and you don't want to be naked, you don't have to put them in a bag, put them in a closet, or get in the shower. Keep going. But the woman that is on her menstrual, she stays unclean 7 days. She should not be a part of the Shabbat services. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And if it be on her bed, or anything whereon she sitteth, and toucheth it, he shall be unclean unto the people. And if any man lie with her at all, while it is upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days. And all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean.
So if a man has copulation with his wife while she's on her period, nasty guy, he's going to be unclean 7 days. And then everything he touches will be unclean. Even if you didn't know she was going to be on her period, she just happened to be on her period while y'all having sex, they're still unclean 7 days. Go ahead.
And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation, shall be unclean.
So if a woman's menstrual period usually lasts about 3 days, if it so happened that it goes even longer, you can't still go around people. You got to wait till it ends. So the next day you can count your first day of your 7 days of separation. So you have 7 days of separation from your husband. And then you have another separation of 7 days to where you can come back around people. All right? Go ahead.
And whosoever touches those things, most likely every bed whereon she lieth, all the days of her issue shall be unto her, as the bed of her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be as the uncleanness of her separation. Whosoever touches those things shall wash his clothes, bathe himself in water. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number herself 7 days, and after that she shall from the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles, bring them to the door of the tabernacle, and the priest shall offer the one for sin offering, the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for the issue of her uncleanness.
Right.
Thus shall you separate the Israel from the unclean, that they die not, the follow tabernacle.
Right. What? Yeah, keep going.
This is the law of him that hath issue of him, deep void from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flower, that hath an issue of man, woman, of him that lieth with her, that is.
So verse in chapter 15, in Leviticus chapter 15, verse 1 to 15, is a man or a woman that has a running issue. That's an STD. And what happens? But I want to touch on verse Leviticus chapter 15, verse 28. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days. Cleansed of her issue, meaning her separation of 7 days. She's cleansed of her issue. Now she has to number 7 more days. All right. So let me I just gotta touch on what the sister asked me. Okay, give me that in Ezekiel. Do not thy pleasure. So we already went to this is the law that says that what you cannot do. Okay. All right, you can't. It's so close to the Sabbath that on Fridays you shouldn't even be thinking about sex. Certain times during the day you should have sex with your wife because you don't want to be unclean all day, or you get everybody unclean. The Most High hates that. How are the angels going to really be around you if you're unclean all day? All right.
Isaiah 8, verse 13.
All right, let me get that real quick. Isaiah 13. All right, go ahead.
If thou turn away thy foot from Shabbat, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day,
Mm-hmm.
call the Shabbat a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, shall honor him, not doing thine own way, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own word.
So, pleasure. This is in Isaiah 28. Pleasure, kafetz, pleasure, desire, things you prefer to do, delight, things you find joyful, your own purpose, all right? Delightsome, your matter, all right? That which one takes delight. Whatever you take delight in, you shouldn't be doing what you take delight in on the Sabbath. It's not about what you want to do. It's about the Most High. You should be studying about the Most High, watching videos regarding breakdowns, debates, and everything else that has everything to do with the Most High. You shouldn't be having your own conversation, talking about other things. You shouldn't come up with some radical explanation while y'all talking about other things like, yeah, this happened to do with the Most High because we're talking about relationship and the Most High is all about relationship. No, that is you. That's why you join a congregation and the head of the congregation helps you get through those days because a lot of you guys are leaning to thine own understanding. The scripture said, lean not to thine own understanding. And a lot of you guys are doing it. So read that again, Zachariah.
Isaiah 13. Thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat,
Mm-hmm.
doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
So if you are turning away your foot from Shabbat, and how you do that? To do your own pleasure. That's how you turn your foot away from the Sabbath, by doing what you want to do. Go ahead.
And call the Shabbat a delight,
Mm-hmm.
the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shall honor him.
You calling it a delight? Your delight? The Most High Sabbath? Go ahead.
Not doing thy own pleasure, thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own word.
Don't do what you want to do on the Sabbath. Don't do what you want to do on the Sabbath. Don't do that. It's not cool. No unclean person should be there. If you have you got sisters out there that got daughters. If people are coming to your house and say you or your daughter hit their period, that young lady or the woman should be locked in her room all night till everybody leaves. So you're not down there and get everybody unclean. Or your daughter should be in the room all day. You would get one of those trays, you know what I'm saying? You'll set it by her door, or you can get a rolling tray. Put the tray on top of a roller, and she can just take the plate from there, not from your hands. Because if she take the plate from your hands, y'all both touch the same plate, and now you're unclean. You just leave it right on the tray, and she takes it from that tray. Okay? Right. This is the only time where if you got a man, wife, and the kids, that when the woman's on her period, she shouldn't be touching nothing in the house at all. This is when everybody else has to pitch in. The daughter's going to have to take over the mom's responsibilities around the house, and the father's going to have to take care of some of the responsibilities going to the stores and stuff. That way, she's not touching dishes, she's not touching anything and cooking and touching no food or anything of the sort. All right, so when she stops her period, 7 days after that, then she can return and do her duties around the house, and then 7 days after Nicole, can you get the door? Bob, and then after her separation is ended, then she can return around the other people of the congregation outside of the house. But on the Sabbath, she shouldn't be doing none of that if she's on her period. So let me respond. I want to respond to something just to say this. What the sister said. She said, okay, she said, well, I just told the ladies as long as he doesn't, I just told the ladies as long as he doesn't ejaculate, they should be good. The guy has premature ejaculation, it's not good, right? And the guys that basically it's a sin to not let her come first. It's not a sin, brothers. That is a lie. That's not true. Give me that precept at 9. Yeah. Is that's nowhere in the Bible where it's a sin to not allow a woman to bust first. That's a lie. That's not true. That's not true. Okay. Especially when the Sabbath is approaching. When the Sabbath is approaching, don't even think about sex if you don't even know how to take care of things properly. Okay, it's a slippery slope when you're trying to have sex before the Sabbath. Is you shouldn't even be doing it. It's, you got 5 days to do all that. All right, so
That's just, that's been out of all these years. I never heard that.
which part?
That's crazy. It's a sin. Not let us first.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's
crazy. I mean, the sister learning, but it's just you got to correct sisters and brothers these days on things, and you know what I'm saying. I know we're not gonna tell you their names and stuff like that. It's not important. The thing is, a lot of other you brothers and sisters do the same thing. And all we doing is telling y'all through this right here that is wrong. Go ahead with that.
Deuteronomy 4:2. You should not add unto the word which I command you, this shall you diminish all from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which are commanded.
Now give me the one in Revelation.
Revelation. Revelation chapter 22, verse 15. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in the book.
So by you saying this, you're putting yourself in great danger. That's why y'all learn from us. Y'all can't be too proud. When you think you can do this yourself, you can't. Y'all are babes in this. And y'all bring yourself close to damnation by saying things like this. It's a sin to not allow the woman to ejaculate first. That is nowhere in the Bible. So finish reading that. This is what happens when people do that, because you're adding to the scriptures. Go ahead.
And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, things which are written in the book.
Mm-hmm. Can't do that. You can't add nor take away. Can't do that. So the next thing the sister said, I just wanted to respond. I told them to avoid sperm and tune into a session tomorrow. That's right. Tune into a session. But there's no way you're going to avoid sperm because brothers premature ejaculate. And I looked that up some information. Just don't have sex before the Sabbath. All right. Won't you just send your kids to your sister and them house periodically throughout the week so you and your man can be at home by yourselves and y'all ain't got to worry about touching everybody and y'all can just spend time with each other. Okay. But if you can't go around the congregation until at night. When night falls, That's when you can. That's when after you wash yourself, change your clothes, and you wash your clothes, take a shower, put on some clean clothes and everything else, and then at night be able to go around everybody. You'll be spiritually clean. But don't no angels want to be around people that are unclean all day, you know. But yeah, that's not a sin, fellas, to not let your woman bust first. It's not a sin. You know, I'm not even going to get into that.
Did you say to pull anything? Back it up?
Yeah, always, hey, when somebody says something about the Bible, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses may every matter be established. Have them pull precepts. Have them pull precepts backing up what they're saying. Okay? 2 to 3. And they have to be without a shadow of doubt. All right? That's why y'all hit my channel up, watch my channels. When you watch a video, ask questions. That'd be the best thing to do. Ask questions. Hit me up in the email. Just ask questions, man. That's all y'all gotta do. All right. Torah portions. Going to be Deuteronomy starting at chapter 21, verse 10, ending at chapter 25, verse 19, and we're switching it up, right? We're going to go into some wisdom, going to the book of Proverbs, starting at chapter 1, verse 1, ending at chapter 2, verse 22, and then we're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, beginning at chapter 1, verse 1, ending at chapter 2, verse 24. All right? Got to get wisdom. All right? So, all right, we'll Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10. We'll start there. Right. Good. Woo. All right. Now we're about to go into the usage of a captive taken to wife. All right. So we're going to go over the uses of a captive taken to wife. The firstborn is not to be disinherited upon private affection. A stubborn son is to be stoned to death. A body is not to be hanged all night on a tree. So the uses of a captive wife. The uses of a captive taken to wife. Okay. This is Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and Yahweh thy power have delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine home, to thy house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the remnant of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will, but thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her. Why? Because thou hast humbled her. That's why you can't sell it. You can't make it merchandise after, because you already humbled. Okay. So that is that is how things are in our land. I mean, really, that's how things are everywhere we go. Um, and the big thing about this is it's a problem in our nation is because men can do that and women can't. Um, Women got to understand that they're helpmeet, and their job in that is a powerful job in itself. You know what I mean? They're the first one to our children to teach them, because they're learning from us, and now they're teaching our children, and they're raising up little warriors, and you know what I'm saying, little Marcadites and stuff like that. But that's a powerful position. You know what I'm saying? You can be teaching them anything. They can teach them little kids to go against us. Anything. We don't know because we're not there. But beside that, there's more of there's more of power in that position for our women. But for them to want to do exactly what we do, so I know a lot of women that don't want to do nothing we do. They like they like where they stand. You know what I'm saying? Because looking on the outside in, they just don't want to be dealing with all that. They like their job just the way it is. You know what I mean? So them being helpmeets, them working at being helpmeets, they really love that position. But that is they are an exception to the rule, and most of our women don't like that position. And I don't want to say society, because we got to talk about the people that built the system. So the so-called white man built the system, and they called it the society. Nah, they control everything. So in the white man's society, his world, they like to push feminism and everything else like that. And when our women read things like this, it springs a good line of jealousy. And jealousy and envy is when you look on the other side, you start envying and thinking that the other side is better than what you're doing. Right there. You can go look it up if you want to. Um, but the only way we can really get past this right here is if we sit down and talk about the things that causes the man and the woman not to do the roles, and try to talk them and persuade them into doing the roles that they were meant to do. Yahweh meant us to do certain roles, and that's what we got to do. We got to play our part. You know what I'm saying? So let me get past that. You want to talk about it? Go ahead. That is called the usage of a captive taken wife. All right. So now we're about to read into the firstborn. It's not to be disinherited upon private affection. That private affection is this. Watch. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated. So that's what I meant by private affection. All right. If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, so the woman that was hated, the private affection, all right, then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he had, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So he got two wives, and he has sons by each woman. So each woman that bear him a son is a firstborn. But this woman over here that is the hated also has his firstborn, right? So that firstborn, the one that is hated, came before the son of the love that also has his firstborn child. All right. So the firstborn of the firstborns, just like you got Yahushai, right? Yahushai is the firstborn of the firstborns. He's the Most High's first creature he ever created. Was Hamashiach Yahushai. Was Yahushai Hamashiach. Right? I gotta keep reminding myself. Bahasham Yahushai Hamashiach. Right? So Yahushai Hamashiach is the firstborn of all of us. That is the Most High's firstborn. He gets double the portion and everything else, and then we get everything else too, handed down to us. So he's the firstborn. And the Most High continues to keep his law. And this firstborn of the firstborn actually has a mom that the father don't like too much. No, don't mean like he hate her like that. You can't take that too far beyond. He just likes her more than he likes her. And last week, hey, remember not the sister sent me a precept of what was it? Deuteronomy 17 and yeah, she sent me Deuteronomy 17 and 17. So I'm gonna go ahead and address this and cut this right away. She sent me, neither shall a man multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. So I just want to actually address that precept right there for edification's sake. But when you go 2 chapters up, it just cuts it right there. Deuteronomy 21 and 15. If a man have 2 wives, letting you know there's a misunderstanding about Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 17. Say that man shall not what? Neither shall a man multiply wives to himself. They use that to say, see, a man can't have more than one wife. But that makes no sense if the Most High is giving you instructions if you have 2 wives. Now you got to understand that precept is being used to tell you that you better accept monogamy. That's what it's saying. That's what they're saying to you. But that's not what that precept is talking about. Now watch this. Deuteronomy 21 and 15. If a man have 2 wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the other and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated. See, he's giving you instructions on having 2 wives or having kids for it. This is just talking about right here. See, check this out. This brother not just he don't want to stop at 3 wives. He got 15. Got 30 wives, got 100. He got so many wives that he can't even concentrate on the work of the Most High. See, this brother has multiplied so many wives to himself that he can't even concentrate on doing the work anymore. Now his mind is not on the Most High. It's on all these women. That's what that is. So neither shall he multiply wives to himself. Deuteronomy 17 and 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. He just has too many wives. Way too many. And I think over 3 is enough. Only got 1. And that was kind of a headache. You know, to have another one, tend to have 3 or 4. Wow. I have a whole head full of gray hair. You know, I don't think I can do that. But let me finish off, right? So that was the firstborn. The firstborn is not to be disinherited upon private affection. So not verse 3, but number 3, we're going into the stubborn son is to be stoned to death. So let's finish this off real quick. Verse 16. Then it shall be, when he maketh the son to inherit that which he had, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he had. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. Now we're going into 18, a stubborn son. And this is for the stubborn daughter too. And this is in our land, you know what I'm saying? But if you do it here, you're going to get in trouble by the cops. Now I tell you this, don't do that here, because Esau and them, they got different rules. But if you do that and the cops come to your house and kill you because you just killed your son or your daughter, the Most High ain't finna, you know what I'm saying? Most High ain't finna do that. He's just gonna be like, you crazy, you shouldn't have done that. But that ain't against the law. You should have been using wisdom. That is against the law. You're not being wise and understanding that, all right, man, I just gotta just put him or her out of my house. Okay, little Shaniqua, little Jerome, you don't want to act right, you gotta go. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastised him or her, will not hearken unto them. No matter if you whoop their tail, beat them, and pop them in their head, they still not listening. Right? Verse 19. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place. Wherever y'all is the gate, your land. That's the gate. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this is our son or daughter. This is our son, is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. And that's what it's for all Israel to hear and fear. 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of, hold on. Okay, yeah, so that was into that. So that's what you do with stubborn children. Okay, I say, I don't really know the age where, I mean, right now, he said that the young man was a gluttonous and a drunkard. So he had to be younger, because if he was over 20, he'll be at the house, probably, most likely. But children, our young men didn't really leave the house until they were about 40. All right, that's a good age, because a young man don't really need to be out there just having kids until he's about 40. And we had land and cattle and farms and stuff. Still, it don't matter. I don't feel a young man should leave the house until he's about like 25 to almost 30, establish his credit, and I build him, and he's ready. Graduated from college. He got the outhouse back there just chilling, and you know what I'm saying. He ain't got no woman pregnant. He ain't out there being a whoremonger. You know what I'm saying. So he can just get his financial situations in order. So when he decide, and we're both, me and him, are understanding that he's good enough to be on his own now, yeah, that's cool. But in that time, you start being a drunkard and a gluttonous, man, you crazy. All right, verse 21, verse 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of Yahweh. That thy land be not defiled, which the Lord thy power, which Yahweh thy power, giveth thee for an inheritance. Ha Sharad, the boy Yahweh, Anai Shavin Ashaman. Father Yahweh said, what we doing here? Okay. Now we're about to go into some other things. So in Deuteronomy 22, 1 through 4, we're about to go over humanity toward brethren. And I'll explain it. So let me start chapter 22, verse 1. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brother which he hath lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. If you found the $100 bill that your brother dropped and lost at your house, that means you can't keep it. You got to give it back to him. Can't say, all right, finders, keepers, losers, weepers. That's what they do. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. No, don't work like that. You're being tested. You are being tested. Even with the kids, you can't be finding stuff at other people's houses and put it in your pocket to say finders, keepers. It is not yours. No. Okay? So if you have when you have a farm, you got cattle that are branded. Usually you have a brand book of everybody's brand so you know who it is, and you see your brother's cattle and you see that brand on them, you know who it is. It's this cattle wandering and they way across town. So just put it on your land until they come looking for it, man. And when they come looking for it, they're like, yeah, man, I put him, he over there somewhere. Go get him. And they go get him. All you doing is holding it for them. So most likely, wolves or mountain lions get to it. Next thing you know, that sucker is nothing but bones on the side of the road. All right? And that's how you show humanity towards brethren. Showing yourself a true brother. When something of his is lost, and whatever's lost that he lost, and you find it, you give it to him. They lost it, give it to him. Oh man, hey, check this out. I found out what you lost over here, bro. Not like, hey man, my daughter found that $100 bill, and you don't tell your daughter, your daughter found his money that he was looking for, and you like, nah, finders keep losing weaver, baby, it's your money now, yeah. No, that's against the law. You have transgressed the law. That's what you just did. And you taught the wicked ones to do wickedly. And I'm pretty sure we all done that. That's why you got the law. And it said your brothers and your sisters, okay? So let's say you was over at my house, brothers and sisters. I don't have to be born by the same mother and father as you to be your brother, because we're both born by the same mother and father. That's why I'm your brother. I don't have to be born by your mama. Me and your mama was both born by the same mother and father. That's why I'm your brother. So if you're at my house, you will apply that to me as well. Now, if you're another nation, a group nation, or anything like that, Chinese, Japanese, those are cousins. They're not our brothers. So you lost $1,000 at my house. The dog ate it. But if you're my brother, my sister, hey, I'm gonna call you. Hey, that what you lost. I got it at the house. So okay, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. This one right here. The sex is to be distinguished. The sex is always supposed to be distinguished. Now you got that she, her, he, him, and all that. Man, leave that madness alone. This Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Your daughter shouldn't be posing a picture like a dude like this. Wasn't that picture we saw us now? No names, but didn't their daughter look like a straight dude posing it? Posted of her like a straight dude. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? And my brother My brother Brown's voice. What the what? I'm looking at that like, she look like a dude. Posted up like a dude. Your daughter should not be wearing pants to school. She should be in dresses. Skirt dresses or dresses. Dresses. The sex should always be distinguished based off of who you are. Always. You know who you are by your attire. The scripture says you know a man by his attire. You know a woman by his attire. Sirach 19, Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 29. Not Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 19, verse 29, and it reads, a man may be known by his looks. So when you go to Deuteronomy 20:25, it said, a man shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a woman, and a woman shall not wear which pertaineth unto a man. Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 29 says, a man may be known by his look. One of those things to see is his attire, how he's dressed. He ain't got those tight ass pants on. Okay, those are female pants. Okay, that's when he's effeminate now. And one that hath understanding by his countenance when thou meetest him. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait shew what he is. Verse 30, a man's attire shows you who he is and how he looks. All right? All right, let me get back to where I was. Okay, I was at Deuteronomy 20:25. Yeah. So Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 29. A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance when thou meetest him. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait shew what he is. Okay, so a the sex is always distinguished. Okay, the sex is to be distinguished. They say who is who, what is what, and that's just how it is. Roles. We're not doing that he, her, or he, him type of pronouns and stuff like that. We don't do that around here. All right, the Most High has things a certain type of way, and that's just the way it is. Boom. Let the Most High be true and every man a lie. Okay. All right, let's read the next one. Verse 6. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 6. If a bird's nest chance to be, so like, if a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dame sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dame with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the dame go and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. So you don't take the dame, you leave her there, but you just take the young ones. And all you're going to do is just take the young ones. That's like you have chicken farms and turtle farms and breeding, with dogs and stuff. They just take you don't take the dame, leave it there. That way it can just have more babies and everything else, or eggs, and that we eat, stuff like that. The Most High put them there for our enjoyment. Verse 7. But thou shalt in any wise let the dame go and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. Verse 8. When thou buildest a new house, right? When thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house. If any man fall from this, all right. So let's look that battlement up. I need to pull Deuteronomy 22:9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seed, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown, and thy fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. That's called crossbreeding. Okay? That's called crossbreeding. People like to crossbreed plants and stuff like that, cloning and stuff like that. People do that a lot in the cannabis, and stuff, but you can't do that. People like to crossbreed certain type of fruits and things like that. Can't do that. You can't sow that vineyard with diverse seeds because they start crossbreeding everything else and undoing what the Most High has already done. Can't do that. Not good. So if you out there, yeah, it's never been like that. I don't know why, but since I upgraded the HD, is a whole lot better. Um, yeah. Let me look on something like this. I'm not even going to do it. But yeah, don't do that. Verse 10. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Again, thou shalt not plow. To Deuteronomy 22 and verse 11. No, verse 10. Thou shalt not plow with an ass and an ass together. With an ox and an ass together. Thou shalt not. Okay, let me get something real quick. Do anybody know about oxes and asses plowing together? Uh, yeah. You know why you shouldn't plow with an ox and an ass? They're both stubborn. They one's going to try to go this way, the other's going to try to go outside because they do not really like each other. They just one want to do this, one want to do that, and then next thing you know, when it's pulling this way, pulling that way, they just don't work well together. And so you get this what Paul says. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14 says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? Infidel is a non-believer. And what agreement hath the temple of Yahweh with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power, as Yahweh hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. So be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So that ox and that ass just don't like each other. That's unequally yoked. They're not walking on the same path together. And that brings up another precept. Can two walk together lest they be agreed? No, they're unequally yoked. You got to believe and agree in the same thing. And that's the Most High. He said it right here. 2 Corinthians 6 and 16. And what agreement hath the temple of Yahweh with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power, as Yahweh hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. All right, they just don't believe in Yahweh. And you can tell by those who keep the commandments of the Most High. And they doing what it said. All right? Well, let me move on. It's Deuteronomy 22 and verse 11. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. As of woolen is giving you an example of diverse, right? Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, right? Now I was going to give you an example. It says, as of woolen and linen together. So you can't mix other things, not just linen, other things too. I heard that, nah, man, it just says linen and wool. No, no, no. It says diverse sorts. It's saying a lot of things. And then it says as of, just giving you an example of linen and wool together. But other things too. It has to be 100% of whatever you put. You can't go with diverse. You know, I learned in class the merchants used to mix all the fabrics together to be cheap about things and make clothing. Most High doesn't like that. All right? Deuteronomy 22 and verse 12. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four corners of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. Now, I got to put this up here. I remember me and my wife was going to the movies and we ran past IUIC, these brothers. I got much love for them, you know what I'm saying, but they was wrong. And I made a good point. The brother just didn't want to hear it. Now, these are four corners. This corner, that corner, this corner, that corner. The brother said, imagine there was a pie, right? You got to put fringes on the four corners. And he said these were the corners. But you got a pie, four pies, and there's a corner. If you take this pie away, it'll slide down there, right? It'll slide down there. But that's not the corner. It's just the wall. You got the pie right here. This is the corner. This will be the corner of this pie right here. So you have the border wall. And there's a border and a border wall. This will be where people come into through the border. This is the wall that protects people from coming past the border, the wall. And here goes the corners. Here goes the border they enter into. So when he said, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 12, thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four corners of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. So if you got a polo shirt and you got four corners, you can put fringes on each corner. So you have this corner, that corner on that side of the shirt, and you got this corner and this corner on that side of the shirt. It's a little string. Boom, boom. But when we wear our garments, we put fringes on the front and the back of the shirts. And we also sometimes put fringes at the corners because we can. Right there, boom. Right there, boom. Boom. All right, because a shirt ain't going to have these four corners on it. It's going to have these two ends of the shirt. This will be closed up. Boom. That's a corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. They call it tzitzit. All right. Yeah. So this will be closed up for the front of the shirt or the sister's dress. So imagine the sister standing right here, and this right here is looking straight up her dress. All right, and she's faced this way. All right, and this is her backside that way. This would be the front of her dress right here, and this would be the back of her dress right here. Right. Cool. Got that. Verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her. So now we're going into something different. Now we're going into if a brother bring a bad name upon his wife. If the bad name be true and the tokens of her virginity be not found, you'll find out what happens to her. But this is what happens when a man brings a bad name upon his wife. Okay? So this is Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, right? And give occasion of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. See, y'all got to understand that this is where we start to prove y'all that when y'all talking about the Virgin Mary, she was just young. She was a young woman. Virgin out in the world now means a woman that's never had sex. But this is talking about a woman. A maid is talking about what we will today call a virgin. Okay? All right. And verse 14, and give occasion of speech. This is an evil thing towards women back then. This is an evil report towards women. To say that you found her and she had sex with somebody, that was an evil report. And give occasion of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity, and unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. Meaning he's saying my woman, my daughter was not a maid, man. He said my daughter was having sex with people, man. That's an evil name. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, her youth. He took her youth. Now she's a woman. She was a young girl, but now she's a woman now. He took her youth. Okay? And doesn't mean that she was a 13-year-old girl. Just means her youth was just her virginity of a young girl never being touched. All right, that's what's the youth he took. He humbled her. Now she's a woman. Okay? And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. What's the cloth? The blood that is on it. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, a young woman of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. Because if you have a virgin, man, you should never put her away. That is, the Most High don't like that. And you have you a virgin, and you put her away? Oh, no, crazy. Verse 20, but if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel. So if this is true, and those tokens that he, he gave that the token of her virginity to the father, and his father spent that money, wow, that's a bad, bad thing. Then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. This is the way it is. So now we go into something else. So we just went from Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 13 to 21. And that was, if a brother bring a bad name upon his wife, what is that? That she's not a maid when he came to her. She already had sex. If the bad name be true and the tokens of virginity be not found, that woman is to be stoned. So best bet is that he keep that money until he find out that that man is good with his daughter, and his daughter was not playing a harlot around town. Right? Okay, verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel. Now, this is the woman that is married to a man already. Let me see something. Now, Deuteronomy 22 and 23. If a damsel that is a virgin, a young woman, be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. That's crazy. So a betrothed woman is a wife to a man that she's not married to yet? Let's find out what that is, because in the world it's different, right? What does betrothed mean? Betrothed spouse. Betrothed to be engaged. That's his fiance. She's promised to him. She is technically his wife. That is her husband. That's how the Most High sees it. And this happens through courtship. So if a man and woman are courting each other, she is now his fiance. She is technically his wife without the consummation. All right. To engage for matrimony. That is technically, in the Most High's eyes, his wife. And that's all that matters in the Most High's eyes. They are betrothed. She's in a courtship with that man. She is his wife. So, verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin, a young woman, be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, now, this is virgin as a young woman. What if the woman's 35 and she's courting a man? She's still a wife now. It's the same thing. If she's 60 or 70, she's courting a man. She's still a wife now. Okay? Then ye shall bring both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not. She's engaged. She might have thought in her head, well, we didn't consummate it yet, so we're going to go. She's just playing a harlot. She's playing a game, a sick, twisted game. And ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. That is adultery. Fornication is adultery. So if you betrothed to one man and you over here kissing another, that's adultery. Both of y'all to be stoned to death. But if a man find a betrothed damsel, an engaged woman to a man, in the field, like wherever, at the store, whatever, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried. She said something about it. And there was none to save her. Verse 28. If a man find a damsel, that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found. So if you have a daughter, brothers, and this young man or this man sleep with your daughter, and she willingly did it, that is his wife now. There's nothing you can. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife. Okay, a man shall not, this is something different. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. This is when you go into Leviticus 18. This is what you call uncleanness. Like he saw his father's wife nakedness. He discovered his father's skirt. So Leviticus 18 and 8. Leviticus 18 and 1, and Yahweh spake unto Moses by the angel of the Lord. So this was the angel speaking to Moses, but they're carrying a message from the Most High. So I just say, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, but it's the angel that's speaking directly to him, not the Most High. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am Yahweh your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. All right, so whatever he's about to talk about, we were doing this after the Egyptians in Egypt. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall ye not do. And he's saying, now the land I'm bringing you into, you're not going to do this there. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. You shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am Yahweh your power. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgment. Statutes are what you will call the spirit of the law, of saying moral, civil, dietary, and ceremonial laws, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord, I am Yahweh. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am Yahweh. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. We're going to find out what nakedness is. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Now let's go into nakedness. Irva in the Hebrew. Nakedness, uncleanness, nakedness, nudity, shame, pudinada. implying shameful exposure, nakedness, or a thing indecency, improper behavior exposed. We're going to find out what this is in just a second, yo. Nudity, literally, especially the put in inda. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but are figuratively disgrace, blemish, nakedness, shame, uncleanness. So let's find out what this is. So the nakedness of a man will be his penis. That's the man's nakedness. Now the nakedness of a woman, the vulva right here of a female. Even if you don't see this, for the women that want to get their stuff pierced, let's go over here. Pudina meaning Hindi. Let's just say this. For the women that want to get this pierced, it is unclean for to show that. It's unclean. Cover a little bit this, that, it doesn't matter. It's an uncleanness. It's the nakedness. Now, to go around to show people that it's not near of kin to you and allow them to do that is still your nakedness because it's not your husband. So just nobody can ever say they will never show this. This is education for you. All right, educational purposes. Only use this for educational purposes. All right. So Deuteronomy 22:30, a man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt, his nakedness of his wife. You cannot be sleeping with your daddy's woman. All right. So if your daddy has a woman, it can that is your mom. Even if you didn't come out of her, that's still your mom. Okay, it's your father's wife. It's another woman, but it's your father's wife. And they were sleeping in Egypt with their mom, the woman they came out of. And they were sleeping with their daughter's other wife. No, can't do that. Paul Shara, Debar Yahweh, Anaya Shai, Wanashemai. Although Yahweh said, what are we doing here? Now we go over to Deuteronomy 23. All right, it's the book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy means second law, 23 verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones or have his pervy member cut off should not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Okay? So you can't enter into the people, right? Because you have something wrong with you and your stones, right? Or you cut it off. So if you cut it off, you're just done. You're not going to enter into the congregation of the court of Yahweh. All right, verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. So, let me explain that what a bastard is. Y'all probably heard of this story of um, of Lot and his wife, and they went up into the mountain. His wife was turned to a pillar of salt, and Lot's daughters lie with him. Okay, that's because this stuff was done in Sodom. So this is Genesis chapter 19, verse 30. And Lot went up to Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us, because they thought Most High was just sending stones from the sky, was just destroying Sodom. So when they saw that, they thought, man, hey, everybody's dead. That's just what they thought. Let me see something. Genesis 19. Give me a second, okay. Mhm. So again, Genesis 19:31. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. See, this all carried on to Egypt. All these ways and stuff, see, they were in Sodom and Gomorrah, and this stuff was being done. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow, see, her father was drinking because, hey, all that stuff was going on. He was heavy-hearted, and he just wanted to forget and go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy for them to do that. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. All right, which were the Chinese, right? All right, Moab are the Chinese today. And the same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son and called his name Benammi. The same is the father of children of Ammon, the Ammonites unto this day, with the Japanese and the Koreans. All right. Let me go look up. All right. So now let me go back to where I was to put this into context. Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Now we're about to find out what a bastard is, which we already did. A bastard is somebody of an incest marriage, like Lot's and his daughters. That's a bastard, not an illegitimate child that has no daddy. That is a worldly concept that is not true. Now I'm going to prove to you. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh, even to their 10th generation, right? See, his 10th generation, shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Why? And he called them bastards too, because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor Pethor of the Mesopotamia, to curse thee. A familiar spirit. He wanted spirits to come down and curse us. Nevertheless, Yahweh thy power would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy power turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because Yahweh thy power loved thee. All right, thou should not seek their peace nor their prosperity all the days forever. So if you are part of a relationship with one of these beasts right here, the Most High said these Japanese, Chinese, these Koreans, the what are they? The Filipinos and stuff like that. Those are all the same people. Leave them alone. Don't seek their peace or their prosperity for all thy days forever. All right? You don't have to. Now, there's other ways to deal with that. You just have to hit me up. And I said, hey, thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all the days of forever. Okay? All right, verse 7. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in this land. I heard a teacher say this is not supposed to be Edomite, it's supposed to be Assyrian. I'm going to find that out too, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. But abhor, to do them disgustingly, we ain't like them. See, Esau always do people disgusting, like buck breaking and stuff like that. They've been like the so-called black man and black woman. We've been dealing, so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indian, Puerto Ricans especially. Wow. Um, Cubans, Haitians. We've been dealing with the LGBT community for years, but they just wasn't called the LGBT community back then. It was called overseers and their wives and stuff like that. It wasn't called the LGBT, the alphabet community. They wasn't called that at all. All right. But we've always done, and they always done us disgustingly. But in the kingdom, we ain't gonna be doing all that homosexual stuff that they was doing. That ain't gonna happen. Verse 8. The children that are begotten of them the children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. When the host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. So now we're going into something different. When the host goes forth against his enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. Don't be doing nothing messed up to the Most High. Will kill you in battle. Verse 10. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chanceth him by night, then he shall go abroad out of the camp, he shall not come within the camp. So when we go out to war to hold camp, and you're unclean, you stay away from us until night. But it shall be when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again. Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whether thou shalt go forth abroad. Pay attention. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon. And it shall be, when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig therewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee, your pool. For the Lord thy power walketh in the midst of thy camp, to deliver thee, to give up thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in thee, and turn away from thee. Now you got, can't be out there sinning and go to war for the Most High and expect to live. Verse 15. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. His master is doing them wrong, beating the hell out of them and stuff and doing things wrong, and they run into you. You can't just take them back over there. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where he liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him. There shall no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. No lesbians and no gay sons. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of Yahweh thy power. For any vow, you bet not marry a hoe. For even both these are abomination unto the Lord thy power. Don't you be marrying a hoe. You know she a HOE. If you know she a 304, leave her alone. Verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Salah. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Upon a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that Yahweh thy power may bless thee in all that thou settest thy hand to, in the land whither thou goest to possess it. When thou shalt vow unto the Lord thy power, thou shalt not slack to pay it. All right? So if you vow unto the Most High, and that is saying Yahweh, and you praying and you making a vow unto him. All right. If you make a promise to one of your bros to do something, yeah, you got to do it. That's a good deed. You got to do it. But that's not a vow unto Yahweh. He just hears it. All right. So when thou shalt vow unto the Lord thy power, thou shalt not slack to pay it. For the Lord thy power will surely require of thee, and it will be a sin in thee. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. That which is gone out of thy lips thou shalt keep and perform, even a free will offering, according as thou hast vowed unto the Lord thy power, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes. Thou mayest eat grapes thy fill at thine own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessel. That means you can't take no bag and start putting grapes in your bag. Can't do that. You can just eat right there what you want to eat. When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor's standing corn. And you can pluck some corn. You just can't start taking a big sickle and taking it with you. Like, nah, just take some corn. That's it. Pa Shara, the Bar Yahweh, and I Shavana Shema. Other Yahweh said, what we doing here? Law of divorce. From the beginning, it wasn't so. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes. That means he just don't like you no more. And they've discussed it, and she know it, and it's just because he hath found some uncleanness in her. Then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the later husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the later husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, when they first put her away, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is abomination before Yahweh. Thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. So if you had a husband and y'all broke up, put your he don't want you no more, and you go be with another man, you can't go back to him. Can't go back to baby daddy. It is an abomination. Can't do it. Leave it alone. If you do that again, you're an abomination to the Most High God. And the fact that you know that now, you can't do it. All right? Okay. I'm sorry, 24 and 4. Her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is abomination before the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. Can't do it. Do it. Verse 5. When a man have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken. Sundry laws. Now pay attention to this. No man shall take neither an upper milestone to pledge, for he taketh man's life to pledge. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, that the thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from among you. So you can't do that, man. You can't make merchandise of your people, start selling them off and stuff. That's those some of our people that be caught in the sex trafficking and stuff of our people. Most High got something for them. All right, take heed in the plague of leprosy. Pay attention in the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priests, the Levites, shall teach you. As I command them, so ye shall observe to do. Now the Levites are not in their office. All the men of Israel are all the priests, principal officers. Okay? So you gotta ask us, and we do according to what we tell you. All right, verse 9. Remember what the Lord thy power did unto Miriam by the way, after that ye were come forth out of Egypt. He took her melanin away. She was white. That's just full-blown leprosy. Then you see people with leprosy, like with discoloration lips and stuff like that. Let me see. You got different types of leprosy too. Different. Oh, correct. Okay, my screen was shared. I'm gonna show you a common leprosy. These you gotta be. Where's melanoma, man? Where'd you see melanoma?
I was saying, that's
Oh, okay. I'm trying to see the most common one. Right here is the most common one you'll see today. Where people's faces will be kind of white like this, and their skin will be brown, and it'll be on their face. Hansen's. Okay, can't find it like I usually be able to, but right here you see their face like this. Just imagine you see their hand all white, and then their skin is like this. It's leprosy too. So Deuteronomy 24, verse 8, take heed in the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priest, the Levites shall teach you. As I commanded them, so ye shall observe to do. Remember what Yahweh thy power did unto Miriam by the way, after that ye were come forth out of Egypt. And she made her leprous, like he made her leprous for like 7 days. All right. When thou doest lend thy brother anything, now it's different. When thou doest lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. That's like a pledge is like you go to a pawn shop You go pawn some of your valuables for some money, you got a certain period to pay it off. That's what a pledge is. Okay? So the brother gave you some merchandise to hold for some money, and now, due time is up. You finna go in his house and take something because he hasn't paid you the money yet. No. Thou shalt stand abroad, and the man whom thou doest lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto you. You're not finna go inside and take it. You're gonna let him bring it out to you. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. Now, if the man is poor, he ain't got the money, you ain't finna go take nothing, you ain't finna ask for nothing. And you're gonna give him his pledge back because he need it. So whatever he pawned to get the money from you, you're going to give that back to him because he needs it. He's still going to have to pay you back, but you're not going to keep it. Right? In any case, thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee, and it shall be righteousness unto thee before Yahweh thy power. So, Most High just said, man, give that back here. Have a heart. All right? 14. Thou shalt not oppress and hire a servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor. So don't even spend all day thinking about not giving him his money. And setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be a sin unto thee. I want the Most High to hear about that. The father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow raiment to pledge. Pervert is not willing to do which is required. All right. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment, meaning thou shalt not act like you're not willing to do what's right in judgment. But thou shalt remember that thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, and Yahweh thy power redeemed thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy power may bless thee in all the work of thy hand. So if you got a vineyard, you're not to pluck all the damn trees down. You're supposed to leave that for the homeless and the strangers, people that are traveling, so they can have some stuff to eat when they cross. And they can pick off it. They ain't gonna be able, they can't take the stuff and put it in their bag and stuff, but they can eat it right there. Right? And it shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that Yahweh thy power may bless thee in all the work of thine hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterwards. That means the stuff that's grapes is lying on the ground, you don't do that. If you miss them on the tree, don't go back and pluck them off. All right? So thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. The Most High just don't want you to forget how you was poor and how you wanted somebody to give to you. So don't do that to anyone else. That's how he wants you to think. Remember how you were. Remember you in your situation, how you was. That's what he wants you to remember, that, man. You can always be that again. Be thankful. They're in a position that you used to be in. That's what he wants you to remember. buddy or pals. Go ahead to chapter 20. All right. This is Deuteronomy 25:1. If there be a controversy between men, and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. So, what is controversy? A dispute, a quarrel, strife, dispute, controversy, a case at law. All right, somebody's going, you know what I'm saying? Somebody did something wrong, right? Justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face according to his fault by a certain number. 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed. Least, if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. Now, this is a controversy in Israel because this applies to the women as well with their husbands, or if they don't have a husband. If there be a controversy between woman and man within his house, this is for both, right here. And this is a controversy in itself. All right, let's move on. Deuteronomy 25:4. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband brother. Not a man you call your brother, but he's your brother. He just didn't come out of the same mother. So that's what they're talking about. A brother that came out of the same mother and having the same father. I think just the same father. We'll get into that. They got to have the same father. Okay, yeah, same father. That's what I say through my studies, same father. Okay, so if brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, so your brother has a wife, and he died before he got her a child. She can't go and marry nobody else. She has to marry his next of kin brother. She can't marry nobody else. Why? And it shall be that the firstborn which beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother. So let's start here. If the brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband brother shall go in unto her and take her unto him to wife, perform the duty of an husband brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. So the first child she had is going to be a boy. And that is the name of him. He'll succeed his father, his brother. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders, and say, my husband brother refuseth to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He would not perform the duty of my husband brother. Right? He may think it's weird, but this is the law. Then the elders of the city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that hath his shoe loosed. That is just how it is. So when men strive together, now this is a different thing. When men strive together, when men strive one with another, and the wife of the one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him. You fighting with this brother, right? Y'all fighting, and your woman come to help you, right? And putteth forth her hand to take him by the secrets, and she grabbed his junk. So you make him stop. Thou shalt cut off her hand. Like I shall not pity her. It's like, why are you going for you don't do that. You don't go for a man's stuff. Just don't do it. Right? Thou shalt not have thy. All right, we go to a different topic. Verse 13. Thou shalt not have in thy bag diverse weights, a great and small. You can't, like, that's my wife. I'm not going to cut her hand off now. I can't do that. Thy eye shall not pity her. Thou shalt not have in thy house diverse measures, great and small. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to do this for him and not this person. Or I'm going to do for this person, not him. It has to be even out. But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight. A perfect and just measure shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy power giveth. For all that do such things, and all that do unrighteously, are an abomination to Yahweh thy power. All right? Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when you come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not Yahweh. Therefore it shall be, when Yahweh thy power hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance, to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. And that's also in Daniel 2. Who is Amalek? Y'all look that up. It's your so-called neighborhood white man. Yep. All of them, matter of fact. It's just all of them. Can't get one without the other.
You have like those white. So like you have to not eat that.
You got the people that are over there in Turkey. Those are Edomites too. So now we go to Proverbs, and I'm gonna let Soldiers Nakaria do Proverbs 2 chapters. Give me 5 minutes. Sure. Hold on, don't just give us 5 minutes. Let's go to the banner we always put up there. Bam! Back in 10 minutes. 4:39.
All right. So we're here in Proverbs chapter 1. I'm going to read the chapter 2 and verse 22. Don't mind. Take it back. All right. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment, equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wisdom or unto wise counsel. I'm gonna start over. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. So you got two groups of people, right? You got two groups of people. You got the people that go in life and will go on with life and just, they just go with the flow. Whatever they learn or whatever they obtain is basically given to them or is put in front of them. Then you have the people that go out and search and do diligence and look for wisdom, right? Because this is man, what's that precept? Because I think it says in someone's rock that we have to go and search out, to search her out, right? To look for her, to look for wisdom, right? And that's the person that you need to be. You need to go and get wisdom, right? Because a wise man will hear and will increase learning, right? And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. That means you're going to listen to wise counsels. What people tell you to do, you need to be able to take in and to use it for your own understanding, right? Verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings, right? And to understand a proverb is basically to understand, it could be a prophecy or it could be yeah, I know I'm a uh, a proverb. Basically, it's like a proverb has a deeper meaning. Yahweh Shah always said proverbs. He spoke in proverbs, right? Not literally in the book of Proverbs, but he spoke in the term of Proverbs. It's like saying someone always speaks in like third person or something like that. Like someone can speak into third person. He spoke in Proverbs, right? Speak the line. Yeah. But the wise is the people that understand those proverbs, right? And the interpretation, the words of wise in their dark sayings. So you're wise. You're wise when you're able to go into the spirit and just be able to break stuff down and to be able to obtain knowledge easily, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive, as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find the precious substance. We shall fill our homes with spoil. And so this is just going into just following after a multitude of sinners to do wickedly, right? So you're following sinners to do wickedly. You can
break it down. So you can be at a job, right? You can be at a job, and you can have a coworker. You're friends with your coworker and everything like that. He invites you over. You go eat dinner. Boom, boom, and then you go home, right? You're not following a wicked person to do wickedly. These people are following. What they're explaining is you following someone to go do wickedly. Your friends like, oh, let's go rob somebody, or let's go rob the store, or whatever. That's following a multitude of sinners to do wickedly, right? For their feet return to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. Verse 19, so are the ways of every one that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of owners thereof. Right? So those murderers, man, that killed to rob and anything like that, man, that's very wicked, right? Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the street. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates, right? In the city she uttereth the word, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have said not at all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. All right, so for you not listening to the Most High and hearkening to His knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, or the Most High is going to laugh at us in our calamity when our fears come, when our troubles come upon us. He's going to sit there and laugh because we should have listened to Him, and we wouldn't have been in that situation, right? All right. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. Then shall they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel, and despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. For whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Right? So now we're Proverbs chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding. All right, so we're supposed to take this book and put it between our put it between our eyes, right? Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, thou seekest her a silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. So just like I was saying in chapter 1, how you have to go out and seek wisdom, all right? Wisdom is not always going to come to you. You have to be that person and go out and find wisdom, right? So if you seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and perceiveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness, and judgment, and equity, and every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, uh, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things, who leave the paths of the uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil, and delight in forwardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they forward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger, which flattereth with her words. Or because wickedness is very tempting, man. Wickedness, comes to you uh, flattering words, or flattering looks. And then now everybody's doing it, so now it looks okay, right? For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again. Neither take thy hold of the paths of life, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men, and keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgression shall be rooted out of it. So stay away from wickedness. Always search wisdom. Always search for wisdom. If you have a question, go and search it out. Find it, ask questions, ask of wise counsel. Don't ask of just any counsel, all right? Because if you ask for any counsel or you just try to search everything for yourself, you're gonna come up with dumb doctrines. You're gonna come up with dumb. You just look dumb, especially when you try to teach it or when you tell someone to do something and it's just not right. And then someone that actually knows looks at you, just look dumb, right? So let's not do that. Because then the Most High will laugh at your calamity. Okay.
All right, let's get to it. Get to it and get over it. Now we're going into the book of Wisdom of Solomon, starting at chapter 1 and then at chapter 2 at the end. All right, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Think of the Lord with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart, seek him. So you can't be too high-minded when you seek the Most High. You got to be in simplicity of heart and not exalting yourself when you think about the Most High. Can't do that. All right? For he will be found of them that tempt him not, and sheweth himself unto such as do not distrust him. You got to trust in the Most High. I was talking to a sister yesterday, Keisha, and she periodically works on a Sabbath, and I was just letting the sister know to trust him and go to her boss because it is against the law to not respect people's religious rights. Even though this is a heritage to us, this is not a religion. Still, under the religious rights, they have to respect our heritage, man. Okay, so that's what you do. You go to them and you tell them, this is my religious beliefs, and you have to give me these days off. They have to meet those standards, okay? So, verse 2, for he will be found of them that tempt him not, and sheweth himself unto such as do not distrust him. For forward thoughts separate from Yahweh, and his power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise. And that always happens when the Most High's power is tried. He proveth you to be unwise. That you just get caught in thinking that the Most High is not real, and you see other people start to flourish and move around. And the Most High start putting people in the places that He wants them to be. All right. For forward thoughts separate from Yahweh, and His power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise. For in a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in a body that is subject unto sin. So a malicious soul, liking people for things this is like not liking people for no reason. You don't like them for no reason. The Most High don't dwell in you. All right. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee this deceit. Again, for the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit. A manipulative person. Okay? And remove from thoughts that are without understanding, and will not abide when righteousness cometh in. Okay, let me say that again. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit. A manipulative person. Wisdom will flee them. And remove from thoughts that are without understanding. So wisdom will remove from your thoughts that are without understanding. It's like, why be there? You don't take the time to get an understanding. So wisdom bounces. And think about that. If you do something real stupid, that means wisdom wasn't there. All right? And will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in. So if unrighteousness come within you, just want unrighteous, wisdom is not there. It's out there. And that's when you start doing stupid things that are uncalled for. Wisdom left. All right? Science means to know means knowledge. Knowledge means understanding, wisdom, and discernment. Discernment is not there. It's going out the window. Understanding is going out the window. Wisdom is not there. For wisdom is a loving spirit, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his word. For Yahweh is witness of his reins, and a true beholder of his heart, and a hearer of his tongue. So when we talk about the Most High Yahweh, he's a hearer of his tongue. That's his tongue. It belongs to him. It's just with me right now, speaking his words and giving them to you guys to understand when you do malicious things with intent, deceit, manipulative things, wisdom is not with you. It's gone. So when you start doing stupid things, you got to stop and be like, wisdom is not with me right now. Let me humble myself down and not exalt myself. All right. Verse 7. For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world. and that which containeth all things hath knowledge of his voice. Right? So that's when the Most High was talking to David. Like, how are you going to build me a house that can contain me? I'm in everything. How can you build a house that big enough to contain me? I'm bigger than the earth. You can't. The Most High is in everything. He's in the sea too. The Most High told the sea not to cross it, not to cross itself. It has stayed like that. The sea is just, you can see it in the middle of the sea, that it will not cross. And waves go back and forth and it still won't cross. That is an act of a power that is much greater than us. All right. Verse 7, for the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things have knowledge of the voice. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance, when it punisheth, pass by him. Again, neither shall vengeance, when it punisheth, pass him. So what I wanted to say, what I was trying to bring out is that, let me see. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. So when we was watching a video last night from the brother from GOCC, he spoke unrighteous things. And then when people go by your videos and they watch your videos, and then they start bringing out things in your videos that are not true, a false prophet start prophesying about things. Those are unrighteous things. They can't be hid. Brothers start to bring them out and put them out there. A sister says some things that are not true. You shouldn't take it personal. It just, when things aren't true, they're brought out for everybody to see and to hear that is not true. And then we bring out precepts letting you know that you're adding to and taking from. And then we're letting the other brother know that he is a false prophet. You are not to listen to him. He's saying things that are going to come to pass, and it's a lie. They didn't come to pass. Just didn't happen. And that's when we start telling people about these groups. You shouldn't follow this group. No, you shouldn't follow that group. They just not telling the truth. They're not being truthful about things. And you got to bring it out about what they do. You know, get them out the way. Verse 8, I start there. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance, when it punisheth, pass by him. So that means vengeance is going to get him. It's not going to pass by him, it's going to get him. For inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly, and the sound of his words shall come unto the Lord. For the manifestation of the wicked deeds, for the manifestation of your wicked deeds have come by the Most High. He can choose to wink at him, and he can do whatever he want to do. That's it. So that's why you pray, man. You have inquisition, you have prayers in the Psalms and all through the scriptures, Matthew 6 and everything else that help you pray to the Most High for mercy. Mercy is something that you don't deserve. Grace is only given to the children of Israel. Grace is just give you enough time to get your ish right. Okay? Verse 10. For the ear of the jealous heareth all things. Again, for the ear of jealousy heareth all things, and the noise of murmuring is not hid. Therefore beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting. For there is no word so secret that shall go for naught, and the mouth that, how can I say this? Let me start over this again. Yeah. For there is no word so secret shall go for naught, and the mouth that belieth slayeth the soul. For the mouth that belieth slayeth the soul, man. The mouth that just sits there. Matter of fact, let me make sure I'm right. So they're saying it's different. Hold on. This real quick. Well, they don't have that in here either. They don't have it in there either. Belieth. So okay, that's why the 1611 KJV is a good book. So on the side here, I got notes that is written, Belieth or slandereth. So therefore, beware of murmurings, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting. For there is no word so secret shall go for naught. And the mouth that belieth or slandereth slayeth the soul. So belieth means to slay it. Let me see if this Google was close to difference. It was close. No, it was not. So it said slander. So, and the mouth that slandereth, slayeth the soul. And that is real true right there. The slandereth mouth slayeth the soul. Anybody who just talking ish about somebody and it's not true, you kind of kill that person, man. And that's why that's slander is against the law of the Most High. All right. Verse 12. Seek not death in the era of your life. And that goes for a lot of brothers. They see some brothers would rather die with some things and they seek death versus the things that they do. All right. Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. Don't kill yourself. Repent, calm down. That's why it's good to have brothers you can talk to, man. You're always supposed to talk to your bros. You're always supposed to talk to your bros. You cannot. Like when you in camps and brothers go outside of places and talk to everybody else because they feel that the brothers that are within the camp will ostracize them or do certain things to make them feel bad. That's not cool, man. Talk to those brothers. Give them a chance. So seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourself destruction with the works of your hands. For Yahweh made not death, neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living. For he created all things that they might have their being, and the generations of the world were healthful. I'm sorry. For he created all things that they might have their being, and the generations of the world were healthful, and there was no poison of destruction in them, nor the kingdom of death upon the earth. For righteousness is immoral, but ungodly men with their works and words called it unto them. For when they thought to have it their way, their friend, they consumed to naught and made a covenant with it, because they are worthy to take part with it. Ooh, man. And some people feel like that. They feel like they're worthy of death. And you start pulling death towards you. Because you just feel that you're unworthy of salvation. You're unworthy of the kingdom. So you start to pull death towards you because you feel that you're unworthy. And you start doing things that you feel that are unworthy. And you pull death right towards you. Nah, be worthy, man. Be in this truth. Do things that you're supposed to do in this truth and do them. Right? Man, because they are worthy to take part with. So that's the end of chapter 1. Let me go into chapter 2. And we'll end at 24. So, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in death of a man there was no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave, except Yahweh Shai Mashiach. For we are born all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, meaning your mind, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as a soft air. And we always have that, electric spark in our minds and everything that, is just keeps going. We just have that spark of thoughts. Okay, so the scriptures tell a lot of things that are true, right? And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud. It shall be disappeared as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun and overcome with the heat thereof. And for our time is very shadow that passeth away. And after our end there is no returning, for it is a fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like in our youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and anointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part, or voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. Now, when he said our lot is this, he's talking about those who think, who has that mindset. But, this is Edom. This is going into Edom right here. This is how they think. They don't think, they don't care about the Most High, and they don't care about how things, they don't care with how the Most High place things into be. When they lost that birthright, they total mindset went to crap. It went to crap, man. They don't care about nothing. They're what you call that infidels. They don't care about nothing. They don't believe in nothing. Verse 10. Let us oppress the poor, righteous men. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Their law, not the law of the Most High. Listen to that. Again, let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. That's what they do. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. And he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us with our offending the law. Man. An objective to our affirming and the transgression of our education. That's what we do to them up there. For them offending the law of the Most High, we condemn them for offending the Most High and his law and the way they do things, and the way they've done the earth, where they've done our people, where they've done all people, the way they've done all things, man. And we tell them for it. They be like, they're not for our time. They want us gone. Right now, they are. Right now, and before, since we started getting real big on YouTube, they have not actually had a sit down with us and access. The news stations is not going to. They don't want nobody to know how we think. That's why everybody watches YouTube, and nobody put everything in the straight, because if they talk to us, they're going to know the truth about a lot of things. Man. Verse 13, he professeth to have the knowledge of Yahweh, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord, which we are. He was made to reprove our thoughts, and that's what we do, man. Why do the heathen rage? We say it all the time. Why do the heathen rage? "15, he is grievous unto us, even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways, as from filthiness." We do. We abstain from the way. They are filthiness unto us. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that Yahweh is his father. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of Yahweh, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. He is going to help us, man. We ain't got to worry about that. Even if we get took from it, the Most High going to show us his power by coming and take us right from it. All we got to do is believe. Even if you put us up there in a rope around our neck and got our head in the daggone thing, man, we still going to believe. And if it get cut off, man, we got to understand that John the Baptist got his head cut off too, and he died believing. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Ooh, that's what they trying to do to us, man. That's what they trying to do. That's what they want to do to us. They did that in the past, man. How they killed the prophets and everything. John, a lady whose daughter was a whore, already had a husband dancing for the king, and he just went and cut John's head off to give to another woman to marry the daughter. Come on, man. We know what y'all want to do. Educational purposes, baby. That's what we teaching our folks. Verse 19, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. And watch that. Let us condemn him with a shameful death. What they do, they shoot us on TV. Bah, bah. Hey, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Bah, bah. Stop resisting. Bah, bah. They should stop resisting. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. As for the mysteries of Yahweh, they knew them not, neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, nor discerned a reward for blameless souls. For Yahweh created man to be immortal, and made him to be in the image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. And this is just telling you how they think and what they want to do to us. You know, wisdom is very important. That's why I chose to do Torah portions a little different, is to give y'all some Proverbs and to give you some wisdom beside the law. And going into Wisdom of Solomon, we're going to go back into the Exodus. Just to let y'all know, we're going to be going back into the Exodus because Solomon tells you a lot of things that happened in the Exodus, right, and what was going on. All right, and I'll be showing y'all again how Yahweh Shah Mashiach is in the Exodus. He's in the beginning. And you know what I'm saying? So y'all can get to know him and know where he has been. Because he's the firstborn creature, the Most High's first son. That's why he gets the what? He gets the majority of the inheritance. He's the firstborn. He's our big bro. Yahweh Shah Mashiach, man. And he's watching us. And the Most High put judgment in his hand. The firstborn. And all we doing is getting right and doing what we're supposed to do. Everybody got to get in order, man. It's not going to be like that in his kingdom. It's going to be righteousness everywhere. And I'm just reading y'all, giving y'all some understanding and giving you some wisdom to know that you just need to get right. Because this kingdom ain't going to have Tatiana in there. This kingdom ain't going to have Pookie and Ray Ray. This kingdom ain't going to have Tyrone's. All right? The kingdom ain't going to have none of those things, man. Okay? It's going to be straight righteousness, man. Okay? And with that, man, I say shalom. Yahweh bless. Yahweh be with you. And shalom, man.